Is he in the workroom?
They're all in the workroom.
What's that?
Todd and
Let's hurry up. Let's just go. And then when they get here, here they come. Dang it. Let's see. That's $4,000. That's $4,000. That's $4,000. That's $4,000. Yeah, yeah.
We're talking about nothing.
All right, Calvin.
you shopping at HEB yet?
I like HEB.
The one they showed yesterday with you guys?
I like
That's a
HEB.
good one.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. You made any decisions yet about who's going to start at QB for you on Friday?
We have not. We'll get into that later as we go. But I'll just say this. I thought the last night's work was really, really good. It was great to have the fans out there. Last time we were in shells, we were a little too slow, and addressed that with the guys. And I thought, as always, these guys give us what we asked for. But thought the work was really, really good. Great spirit. The red zone work was awesome. It was cool to see Caleb Downs get interception. Punt was pretty good too. So look out, banger. Yeah, it was good work. But no, none of those decisions have been made in next day or so.
You ever seen a rookie like him just slowly get better every day, knowing that when I see him week one, he's going to be an impactful player for me?
Yeah, I'm not going to compare him to anybody else, Calvin. But yes, I mean he works incredibly hard. He's very serious. He's very intentional. You see him pre-practice working with CP on footwork drills and stuff like that. And there's a thirst or quest there for knowledge that he's trying to ascertain and bring into his game. And you love that about any player, but especially a young player that's a rookie. And again, there's no secret why he's such a good player.
Yeah, just piggybacking on this, but it's a superpower in his brain. I mean, because he's not big. He's not like 4'3" guy, but
I think it's part of it.
He can be great.
Yeah, that's part.
What's the superpower with him?
Yeah, I mean it's the psyche for sure, the mindset. I think that goes back to his upbringing, his family. But you don't have to be big to be a great player. He's a very powerful player, great lower body strength. So the ability to drop his weight in coverage, the ability to blitz, the ability to block, destruct, all those things are part of because he's so strong from his lower body. But I would say that his mind and football IQ is certainly one of the reasons that he's such a great player and why he's picking up the defense, so quickly.
One preseason game left. I know you haven't played a lot of starters. The running backs, but they all go Friday. I mean, I don't know if anybody else has elevated themselves to where putting bubble wrap, or is it still competition?
Yeah, there's still a lot of competition going on. Each position battle's a little different as you guys try to set your roster. We'll, like I said to Calvin, we'll make those decisions here in the next, day or so, and you guys will be the first, but maybe the last to know.
You're always the last. Todd Archer with ESPN. Back on Downs. You think when he got that pick, he was like, finally, because he'd seen all these other guys get one, and he got his hand on a couple, but you think he was kind of like, all right, I finally got one.
Knowing Caleb, no. I think, he knows there's a lot more to come. But he and Dak, were having some good trash talk back and forth, which is good. And it was actually a little smirk on Dak's face when he saw it was Caleb that got the interception. And, again, I think he was excited, not excited to throw an interception, but that we're seeing the growth of what's going to be a really, really great player.
And then have you guys started internally on the Giants? Just looking at their stuff yet at all?
No. Right now, we're focusing on cleaning our shed, if you will, sweeping the shed and figuring out who we want to be from an identity standpoint. The personnel part of it is big for us, okay. We don't take any of these decisions that we have coming up lightly because they're important decisions and they affect our football team, but also people that we love and care about. Each coach is doing a little stuff on their own for their area, but, we know they're a good football team, ton of respect for Coach Harbaugh. That football team's got a lot of really good players, and it's going to be an electric deal. But, that'll start as we get into a little bit next week. But, really you got sometimes you over-prepare, Todd, and that's a real thing. And I've done it where, like, next week you do a bunch of the Giants stuff, and then, you come back and what ends up happening is you do it all again, and you just end up, well, we just did that. So what's different than what we looked at? There's no new film to watch. There's nothing new about that. It's a new scheme. It's a new defense with Denard Wilson and Coach Nagy, and so we won't overdo it. We're going to focus on us first, make sure we're in a good spot.
John Michaud with The Athletic. I'm sure that there's some players you have closer relationship with than others. Do you have a relationship with a player that compares to Jaishawn Barham? Like, is he a guy that maybe you don't talk to as much, or what is he like behind the scenes?
He's awesome, and I think I'm getting to know Jaishawn on a much closer level. He's a very serious and great intent, but I was actually visiting with him yesterday for a few minutes and talking about a lot of different things. But you talk about a guy that's wired the right way, and don't let his demeanor or the way he carries himself around you guys make you think for 1 second that he's not all in for this football team. He is very serious at what he does, and he wants to be great. But he's getting more and more comfortable in this locker room, around our players, around our coaches, and I think he's a terrific young man.
If you take yourself back to being in that draft room when you guys are in the third round, you're about to take him, and going over what you like about the guy to where you are now, where is he at expectations-wise?
Well, I mean, he was slowed down a little bit because of the groin, but from the time he's gotten here, we've been really excited about the player, the person, the seriousness that he approaches meetings with, and the ability to communicate. The versatility is real, and it kind of goes back to draft day. And we did the work, we did the prep. He was there. Jerry made the call, and it was great.
Nick Harris, 4-Star Telegram. I know I asked you about Malachi Lawrence a couple weeks back. Where is he at this point in time in his progression?
Yeah, he doesn't get an opportunity because we're not, sacking people and things like that to maybe show up like a Caleb Downs does. He's pulling off red jerseys and things like that. But generally, when you see guys playing less in the preseason, it means that I'm talking about game 1 to game 2 that we've seen enough. And we're excited about what we see. I think he's had some of his best pass rushes in the past week to 10 days. I'm going back to probably Seattle through Arizona and a couple of our practices. Every day is a new day for him in terms of learning something that's different. We knew it would be maybe not longer than Caleb or anybody else, but UCF's a little different program and not some of the same things are afforded to them maybe, that resources and things, but he's been awesome. And one of the big things we wanted to see him do last week was on special teams against Arizona. I thought he did a really nice job because, as you guys know, special teams is going to be a big part of all the guys on the roster because we want to be a dominant special teams unit.
One practice and one preseason game left. How many spots would you truly say are left up for grabs right now?
Yeah, I'm not going to answer that, Nick. It's a good question that I'm going to not answer. I mean, you don't know. I mean, we got a really competitive roster, and there's going to be a lot of late nights. These are hard decisions. You're affecting people's lives, and you're trying to build a championship football team, and these are big decisions. It's not just who starts at this position or that position. It's how does it all fit. And the one thing I think we're all on the same page of is this statement, which is we want to build a great team and not just collect talent. And I'll say that again. It's a great quote. Marty Schottenheimer, 2005-4 in San Diego. It's not about just taking the best players. It's about taking the best people that fit into what you're trying to do, therefore building the best team that we can have, which gives us the best chance to win a Super Bowl.
Tommy Irish, DallasCowboys.com. Darwin was saying yesterday that Christian, the way he calls plays, helps his defense play fast. When you watch tape back, where do you see that playing fast show up?
Well, I think there's an identity, Tommy. I think, he knows what he wants to be. We've got, really great compliments to our base stuff, but we're really good at our base stuff. When I say base, I don't mean base defense. I mean what I would say our primary first and second down packages, our primary third down packages, red zone and beyond. And I think they can play fast because they know them so well, and I think that's important in year one. And as I look back a little bit on last year, not casting stones, not going back, but maybe a little too complicated early on. And, this year, CP's done a great job along with his staff of really saying, hey, this is who we want to be. And then as we get going into the season, we'll have compliments. We have compliments, but I think that's a big part of it. And that's why I think Demo probably made that comment.
And then on the injury front, where are you guys with Jonathan Buller, the tight ends, Trayvon Rogers, and anybody else I might forget?
Yeah, so really 3 guys will miss practice today. Bull's doing much better. He's moving around, but he'll miss practice. DJ Rogers will miss practice. And then Johnny is going to miss practice. Trigg will work back in, get a little bit of work, and there's one other that's coming back. But who? Jay Wood's still in the protocol. Thank you. Yeah, he's doing individual and stuff, but he's still in the protocol, and he'll probably take that up to game time.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. Will both quarterbacks play Friday?
Yes.
Piggybacking off Nick asking specifically about this year's roster spots, in your experience generally, how many roster spots would you say are available going into a preseason finale or kind of up in the air?
I think it's different, Skyler. I mean, I really do. I'm not trying to dodge the question. I think it's different. I would say this year some of these battles are really contested, you know. I mean, last year maybe it was a little easier process. Not easier in terms of the emotion and things like that, but I do think that, you know, it was a little bit more clear-cut now because we're a deeper, better, more talented football team. I think, you know, these decisions are going to be harder. And, you know, it's part of it. But, you know, each situation is different. And so, you know, is it 12? Is it 18? Is it 15? You really don't know. And so have a great practice tonight. Excited about tonight's work and get through the game, and we'll put together a hell of a roster. I have no question about that.
Is the promising depth, has that really shown up to you this preseason?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. You know, we see it in practice every day, but I think you see it in us in the fourth quarter of some of these games, you know, in Seattle and being able to put the game away. And in Arizona, we jumped on them, you know, early, but still be able to finish the game the way we did. I think, you know, you're seeing, you know, like I said, we sat 29 guys last game, and we're still able to function and play really well with a great play style that jumps off the tape. And that's because of the depth that we have on this football team.
Christy Scales, Cowboys Radio 105.3 The Fan. One of the rookies who's drawn praise from veteran teammates, and you also noted his play last week, but LT Overton, what more do you want to see from him, and where has he made his greatest strides?
Yeah, great sack the other night. It was an effort sack. It was set up by T. Wheat, who, you know, did a great job with his rush of not going past the quarterback. I would say LT is one of the most natural pass rushers I've been around for an interior guy. You know, we saw that at Alabama. You know, he's still learning some of the techniques that we believe in terms of playing, you know, combination blocks and run defense and things like that. But he's, you know, been elite in a lot of ways rushing the passer. And, you know, he's a guy we're very, very high on. And we were high on in the 4th round when we took him. And he's having a great camp. And, you know, we'll see what we decide to do with him on game day.
Joe.
Joe Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. You brought up Jonathan Mingo unprompted a lot. Heading into this preseason finale, into a contract year for him, what have you seen from his mentality just kind of going into this training camp and then how he's done?
Could not be more proud of Jonathan. You know, everybody, they figure it out at different stages of their career for different reasons. You know, being selected high like he was in Carolina and then being traded, that's not easy. I mean, that, you know, believe me, you're talking to a guy that's been fired a lot. And so you kind of like, you start second guessing yourself and whatnot, but he's figured it out. And, you know, he's not just done it on offense. He's done it in another phase, which is really important to us, and that's special teams, whether it's a gunner, whether it's a returner. He's figured out what creates value on a football team, and that's versatility. And I could not be more proud of him and just kind of what he's done, and really, really pleased.
You say it takes time. Did he show a difference in demeanor at some point, or was there a moment where it totally clicked with him?
No. You know, I just think that, you know, like I said, I think, you know, I can't speak for him, but I do know that, you know, sometimes when you're, you know, sent to a different team, there's guys that they attack it one way and there's guys that attack it a different way. And for whatever reason, I think he just said, hey, it's time for me to go do this. He's incredibly talented. He's incredibly gifted. But it's been really fun for us to see him put it all together. And it's not been 1 or 2 plays. It's been every day. And so that's what I think we're so excited about for him. And it's cool for him to get his first touchdown the other night.
Sorry.
Sadi's with The Athletic. Brian, I know front office does a lot of the personnel stuff, but the cut down day is 2 days earlier this year. Just going into the final preseason game, how does that adjust the timeline with how you guys operate? Because normally it's on a Tuesday this year on Sunday.
Yeah, the process is still the same. We do it the way we do it. We'll play the game on Friday, and we'll get in here early on Saturday, and we'll blink the film for some of those last looks, if you will, at some of these guys that are in contested or heated position battles, and we'll have a meeting and we'll dissect a lot of different things, and we'll start with one side of the ball or the other, and we'll debate, and then we'll take a break, and we'll come back and we'll debate some more and talk about different things. And of course your phone starts to ring, and people start calling about different things. And at the end of the day, I think it's no different than how we do the draft process. Long conversations, but real conversations, hard conversations, disagreements, discussions, and then, hey, this is what the Dallas Cowboys are doing in 2026 with final cuts. And the hardest part is, you bring the guys in and you have to have real conversations with them and tell them that their dream is not over. It just means that their dream might not be with us this year, but I'm very, very certain that the players that we have to move on from will find homes elsewhere because, like I said, we're a very talented roster, and they're incredible young men that are great professionals.
What are factors that you consider when you're combing the waiver wire for talent that's been let go elsewhere compared to what you already had in-house?
We look at the talent side of it first because it's hard to get to know these guys. You don't have time to bring them in like you do the rookies for draft visits or free agents, and so you got to go off talent. A lot of these guys we have draft reports on that speak to the character. You got to be careful calling your buddy from another team about a player because they might be trying to get him back on practice squad or whatnot. But it's a very similar process. You trust the tape first, and then you have conversations and you look back at reports. I mean, the personnel guys, they don't sleep really for a couple nights, 48 hours or so. They don't sleep, and but again, I love the give and take that we have between ourselves. Jerry, Steven, Will McClay, and all the personnel guys. It's real conversations, and I look forward to it.
Brad.
Brad Sham, Cowboys Radio 105.3 The Fan. Before kickoff Friday, will you have felt the need to remind your team that last Tuesday was last Tuesday and there's no need for anything to carry over?
Yeah, I mean, we're into these position battles and things like that, and these guys are excited to go out and play football, and mostly we're excited to be back home in AT&T Stadium, and can't wait to watch these guys compete.
But as to the question, will you be speaking to them about last Tuesday?
I talk to our guys about a lot of different things, Brad. So.
Answer my damn question.
Todd.
He knows I'm not going to answer the question. We're playing off each other right now. It's pretty cool. Do you know what I know that you know that I know? Okay, good. You can ask the same question. I'll answer the same.
Todd.
Back on Caleb Downs for a second. How much time did he and Christian Parker spend together, and how was his Christian Parker skit rookie night?
Well, the rookie skit, he was doing really good. Tommy Dunn cut him off, unfortunately, so he couldn't quite finish his Christian Parker, but the mannerisms were very, very good, and it was a lot of laughs. But they spent a ton of time together. Christian's one of those guys that he is wanting to be in meetings and wanting to be doing extra, and so they spend a lot of time together. You can see them before practice working together, and I think that's important for any player, but certainly a young guy that has the high expectations of himself that Caleb does.
Nick.
Not counting Caleb Downs, but it appears you have 6 safeties that are capable of being on a 53-man roster. How tough is that?
You could say it's tough. You could say it's a positive. I think it's a positive. We get only so many spots, but very, very talented room. And it's one of those battles that you look at, and again, we'll see who plays and all that stuff. But it's a deep room. It's probably deeper than the 6 or 7 you mentioned, and can't speak enough about a guy like Reddy Stewart. You know, I mean, the guy moves from nickel. He plays at safety. He does everything right. He's intelligent. He's a great communicator. I mean, you know, those guys are hard to find sometimes. But very, very good room, Nick. Very talented, and I don't think it's a problem. I think it's a blessing.
We talk a lot about Blue with you. Was there any point when you saw this offseason, maybe even in camp, when you said, okay, he's going to be okay? Because we had talked about his maturity last year.
Yeah, I think, you know, he came back, and I've said this before. I think he came back with a different mentality, which is great. You know, he's always been extremely bright and picked up the scheme very, very well. It's been good for us to see him take the next step in certain areas, whether it's pass protection, whether it's you know, some of the stuff in the return game. But I noticed it early on that there was a little bit different intentionality about him. But again, he's got to continue to compete because that's a deep room as well. And you know, we'll you know, see how we figure out the rotation. But it was early on for sure.
What kind of role did Jaishawn Barham have in the rookie night?
It's a good question. He was an extra, I will say. He was involved. He played his part beautifully. Jayshawn, great job. But he was more of an extra, which some of the guys were only extras. So
He didn't intimidate, or he didn't do his impression of a coach?
he did not, but he was very good, Oscar-worthy of what he did as an extra. Yep.
All right, thank you.
Taylor Sheridan, take notice.
Yeah.